Transformers is a massive sci-fi action franchise that began with toys in the early 1980s and evolved into comics, animated TV series, blockbuster movies, and an enduring global brand. It focuses on a civil war between two alien robot factions, the heroic Autobots and the evil Decepticons, who can transform into vehicles, weapons, and more. Optimus Prime is the noble leader of the Autobots. He transforms into a semi-truck and represents ideals like courage, sacrifice, and honor. Known for his deep voice famously performed by Peter Cullen, and iconic phrases like, "Autobots, roll out," Optimus is one of the most recognizable and beloved fictional heroes worldwide. History of the Transformers franchise. Early origins. The seeds before Transformers 1970s, early 1980s. The Transformers story begins before Transformers even existed, rooted in Japanese toy lines from Takara. Diaclone robots piloted by tiny humans. Micro-changed robots disguised as everyday items. In 1983, Hasbro, fresh off the massive success of G.I.Joe, a real American hero, wanted a new boys' toy line. At a Japanese toy fair, they discovered Takara's transforming robots. Recognizing the potential, they licensed them for America. Unknown fact. Some early Diaclone toys even had human pilot seats. These were later removed when creating the Transformers mythos. Transformers and G.I. Joe have an important, little-known historical connection that most casual fans don't realize. Transformers and G.I. Joe, the crucial connection. G.I. Joe and Transformers are more connected than you think, both creatively and behind the scenes. Same creative team. Hasbro assigned Marvel Comics to develop the backstory for Transformers, just as they had for G.I. Joe a few years earlier. Larry Hama, the legendary writer behind the G.I. Joe comic and character file cards, was originally supposed to write the Transformers backstory too. However, Hama was too busy with G.I. Joe deadlines. So Marvel editor Jim Shooter quickly drafted a Transformers lore outline and handed it to Bob Budiansky, who developed most of the original character names and bios, including Megatron and Optimus Prime. Secret. Optimus Prime's name was originally going to be Orion Pax, even in the toyline stage, a name later used in lore as his pre-Optimus identity. Crossovers. In the 1980s, Hasbro actually considered merging the two universes, G.I. Joe and Transformers, officially in comics and cartoons. Marvel eventually published G.I. Joe and the Transformers, a 4-issue crossover comic series in 1987. There were even prototypes of G.I. Joe vehicles that transform, but these ideas were scrapped because Hasbro feared confusing the two brands. Cartoon connection. Many of the same writers, animators, and voice actors worked on both the G.I. Joe and Transformers animated shows, including people like Wally Burr, voice director. The shows often shared background music and sound effects. Modern reboots. In recent comics IDW publishing, G.I. Joe and Transformers exist in the same universe. Future film projects have hinted at possible live-action crossovers between the two franchises. Little-known detail. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, 2023 teased a G.I. Joe crossover at the end, where Noah Diaz Anthony Ramos is recruited by the G.I. Joe organization. Secret fact. Early prototypes still bore Japanese labels when pitched to American executives. Some of the designs would later evolve into characters like Optimus Prime, Soundwave, and Megatron. 1984. The birth of Transformers toys, comics, and cartoon. 1984 is when Transformers officially launched. But it wasn't just toys. Hasbro executed a three-pronged media attack. Toys. Detailed robot. Figures with intricate transformations. Comics. Marvel Comics created a backstory. Legendary editor Jim Shooter outlined the concept. Warring robotic factions from Cybertron stranded on Earth. Cartoon. Sunbow Productions created the animated TV show, with help from Marvel writers like Bob Budiansky, who named and characterized many of the original Transformers. The cartoon was wildly popular, fueled by memorable voice performances and kinetic action scenes. The show's first 2 seasons introduced fan favorites like Bumblebee, Starscream, and Soundwave. Lesser-known fact. The original animated series was produced cheaply by outsourcing much of the animation to studios in Japan and South Korea, including Toei Animation. 1986. The Transformers, the movie, A bold, risky move. The Transformers, the movie, was released in theaters in 1986. It shocked and traumatized many kids. Optimus Prime dies early in the movie to make room for a new toy line. The film had a darker, grittier tone, with many main characters brutally killed off. It introduced Unicron, a planet-eating transformer voiced by none other than Orson Welles, in his final film role. Secret. Hasbro executives underestimated how beloved Optimus Prime was. After fan backlash, they quickly resurrected him in the TV series a year later. Despite initial disappointment, the movie eventually gained cult classic status, with its synth-heavy soundtrack, e.g., The Touch, by Stan Bush becoming iconic. Late 80s to 90s. Decline and evolution. After season 4 of the cartoon and some limited Japanese-only animated series Headmasters, Masterforce, Victory, Transformers' popularity waned in the US. Hasbro tried to revive interest with various new lines. Transformers Generation 2, G2, 1993, featured repainted G1 toys, new comics, and limited animation. Beast Wars 1996, a bold reinvention where robots turned into animals instead of vehicles. Beast Wars saved the franchise critically. It introduced complex storytelling, character development, and 3D animation, revolutionary at the time. Unknown fact. Beast Wars was produced in Vancouver, Canada, on an extremely tight budget, forcing the writers to be highly creative, leading to rich character arcs. Early 2000s. The rebirth. Transformers saw a slow build back to prominence. Robots in Disguise 2001 anime-style reboot. Armada, Energon, Cybertron, a trilogy of series co-produced between Japan and the US. Simultaneously, Transformers collecting became a serious adult hobby. BotCon, an annual convention started in 1994, grew from a small gathering into a massive event. Secret. Some rare Transformer toys, like the Lucky Draw Gold Convoy, are now worth over $10,000 each. 2007. Michael Bay's live-action Transformers. In 2007, Michael Bay directed the first live-action Transformers movie, produced by Steven Spielberg. It starred Shia LaBeouf and featured hyper-realistic CGI designs created by Industrial Light and Magic (ILM). The film grossed over $700 million worldwide. It reignited massive toy sales. It introduced new fans to characters like Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. Despite critical mixed reviews, audiences loved the spectacle, and it spawned an entire series. Transformers. Revenge of the Fallen 2009. Transformers. Dark of the Moon 2011. Transformers. Age of Extinction 2014. Transformers. The Last Knight 2017. Each film made hundreds of millions, though quality and fan opinion varied widely. Lesser-known detail. Peter Cullen returned to voice Optimus Prime at Steven Spielberg's personal request, bringing authenticity that fans demanded. 2018. Bumblebee, A Fresh Start. Bumblebee, 2018, directed by Travis Knight, shifted the tone. Smaller, heartfelt story, set in the 1980s, filled with nostalgia, focused on the bond between a girl played by Haley Steinfeld and Bumblebee. It was critically praised as the best live-action Transformers movie to date and hinted at a softer reboot of the franchise. Now, 2020's modern Transformers. The Transformers universe is thriving again. Transformers. Rise of the Beasts 2023 introduced Beast Wars characters like Optimus Primal alongside the Autobots. New animated series. Transformers. Earthspark 2022 targeted at kids but respected older fans. Video games. Transformers. Reactivate, a new online multiplayer game, is in development. Comics. Skybound Entertainment, run by The Walking Dead's Robert Kirkman, is publishing new Transformers comics starting in 2024, resetting the continuity. Movies. Paramount is developing a Transformers animated prequel movie called Transformers 1, released 2025. Exclusive fact. The Transformers toy brand consistently ranks in the top 5 best-selling boys' toy categories worldwide, outperforming even LEGO at times. Subscribe. And if you really love these videos, leave a comment and suggestions for future videos.